Racing to a narrow lead as Royal Patronage. Now the favourite's coming. Chao Wolf right down the outside. Tom Kidden tries to go with him, but Chao Wolf with the wind in his sails draws away for a big win in the Epsom.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. It's Ducks and Drakes up at the Gold Coast. It has been, Noah's Ark sort of stuff here, but it's missed Walt up northern Gold Coast area. How are you?
Good, mate. I set a new record this week. I cracked a tooth on Monday. I went in and get a crown. I never had one of these things before. The guy's like, mate, if you need to... And I was the first person in his 35-year career to fall asleep whilst a bloke had a buzzsaw in my mouth putting a crown in. He thought I'd passed out from nerves or something. I said, mate, no, sorry, I just nodded off. So that's a new record. Another one I'd be proud of.
You're a rare cat. Can't sleep at the best of times, but dozes off at the dentist chair. So interesting little angle there, DK. Can you relate?
Actually, it's a sore subject at the moment. Junior's just had to get braces on, so another 10 grand's gone off there. So got to find that fine beauty. Yeah, that's good. So, thanks, Scoot. That's a good way to start the show. Got to pack more winners. Nico, how are you?
I'm well. Up and about for Saturday. Super keen for the racing. So, just pretty much getting through today and tomorrow. And, we're going to rip into Caulfield, which looks an outstanding meeting.
Well, lucky it was a Bet Doctor Blitz last week. I don't usually toot the horn too much or toot the trumpet too often on the show, but I tell you what, if you didn't win last week after you watched the show, you may as well turn off because we can't help you anymore ever again. Last week, Donny, Bubba's Bay, 5 into 330. They bet $10, which is crazy. Navy on the Highway, it won. Tremonti, Nico, bit of 2-year-old flair from you, which is a beauty, fought back. Walt, you lay Giga Kick, which is good. Land Legend, got a 12 out of 10, I thought, from Reese Jones. Cho Wolf, everyone was pretty keen on that one. And so that was the absolute steamer. What was it, $8 or something into, I don't know, last time I checked it was $4.20, might have been shorter, no idea. Eyes to Me, Daryl Horner Jr. For you, DK. And, wow, it was a complete and utter clinic that we put on. So timely, given all the dental bills that have arose.
Yeah, we won't talk about Port Lockroy, but it was. I hope someone out there had the all-ups. Holy cow, you wouldn't have to have much on. They're all prices, which is the best part.
And backed. Prices backed. So well done, boys. It was a sensational week, and hopefully we can keep the momentum up because momentum is everything in life.
It was a beauty, the one at the Bull, Nico, that Eyes to Me. Like, I had the pants off at the 1,000. Like, where he put it out was travelling. I said, how good is this? He's just going to win. Then he just peels off, and you go, it's just going to... And there's one horse trucking up better than it. Like, if it'd been any other horse, you'd said, we're off here. It was old mate Crafty Boss, 19 start, who refuses to go past. So I thought, we're still sweet. So, no, it was a good one.
I haven't heard that in a little while. Pants off early. You do it a bit, don't you?
But they literally come off. They literally come off, yeah. I wasn't pants off with Land Legend. I was that was like bloody Bone Crusher, Waverley Star, wasn't it? It was crazy.
Might have pinched one there. Big winners this week, MRC members who love Sandown, love MRC. Kanga's done the media circuit this week, and it sounds like he's singing from the same hymn book as the rest of the Victorian racing community. All angles, it's giving off this big kumbaya, bringing racing back to the battlers and the people vibe. So I'm here for it, and it's good to see. And finally, the tides turn there. So good luck to the MRC, and now they just got to put the bulldozer through the mounting yard after Carnival time, and it might take a dozen or so weeks. So. Yeah, Kanga, roo. Big changes, and maybe we can see something up north. It'd be good to see a little bit of an upheaval up there in North Korea.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's funny.
What isn't funny and what is beautiful is 110% Fridays at TopSport. So 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Last week they were top odds via Sistina, copped it right up the clacker, which is an absolute beauty. So they were one out there chasing that horse and got rightfully hammered. They sucked me into a tissue. I took the $15 there. I thought I was smart. And then this weekend, or Friday, especially at 3 o'clock, 3 till 4, they've got the Guineas, they got the Toorak, and they got the Might and Power. So all three Group 1s, TopSport Friday. Set your alarm. Don't pick up the kids from school. Just steam right into the 110% markets. They are back in business. And
Imagine the
you should be shopping.
What's the treble? The old Mr. Brightside broadsiding and another Will treble on the 110% all up. That'll get a workout, won't it? Holy
thought
cow.
so.
That'll get the biggest workout ever.
I would have thought so. And it's an interesting one because they're laying, I don't know the answer, but because they're laying odds to win 10,000, all these runners, they're still got potential to set up some awful liabilities on these runners. Like they can be roughly market price, some of these favourites, and be standing them for a kicking.
Well, he actually is putting his balls on the line because, you see the Ladbrokes. I saw that weird-looking cat was showing their profit and losses on races, plus and minus 500,000. I'm pretty sure Tristan's not having that most races. So, it's definitely going to stand out and hurt him if he gets it wrong.
The other good news is if you've got a Neds account and you've got Victorian Racing as a jurisdiction that you bet in, I opened my account back up on Monday, so I was barred from Neds
Oh, that's
completely.
right. The dealer's got to bet both all joints.
Ring up their customer service line. You can press 4. Don't tell them I told you, or I'll get barred completely off all of it. And you push 4 and it takes 5 minutes and it'll just give him the absolute Jimmy Britt. So you may as well give him a bit of an uppercut. I know it's a small cheer, but it's definitely worth doing if you can find a horse that their ball's out or a horse that you want to have 2 licks at. DK?
I'm looking forward to the people who are trying to get a bottom with, say, the Amused. They've got six brands. How they're going to handle it? Obviously they're going to be reluctant to bet you to win 12,000 or something like that on the Metro. So be very interesting to see what happens there. I'd love to see any feedback and see how people go.
I know one big player who will be doing it in every race going around until they go broke. He's that rap with them, and make sure you do your best. You can only just chip away at this game and support the good guys. But the most important thing is to chime into those 110% markets at TopSport. They're doing all the right things there. Today's show, Donnie's got 2 at Eagle Farm, which is a beauty. Nico, we're putting him through the ring at Caulfield and a bit of Launceston on Friday. I'm going to help him with the Caulfield preview. You got the Rosehill Stakes, Walt, and a couple other ones early on in the card. DK, Cranbourne, you're going to open the batting there. I'm going to have a look at the Toorak. And TopSport Steam last week, they went 1 from 4. Swifter Falcon. I was lucky to win the Dulcify, I would have thought, but 1,000 at 420 last week with that one. They got some pretty shiny horses this week, so they'll be hitting the board at some stage, I would have thought. TopSport, best of the best on all group races. Vic and Queensland, Group 1s to win 10,000. Same race multi. Protest Payer, Top Fluck. They've got all the products that the normal corporates do, so make sure you bet Australian and get around topsport.com.au. DK, Friday seems to be your sweet spot, so let's hunt Cranbourne Race 5, and it's the Frankston Sand Soil Mini Mix Maiden Plate. Be a good business, that one, I would have thought. 1,600 metre race. Divine Thoughts is the favourite. Peter Moody, you love taking these odds on Moody shots on. $1.70. Slugworth $4.60. Vidachi is $6.50, just like Hank, $10. Suddenly $10, and then you're getting 21 or better the rest. Horse you like here, Bazuston Young Camp, Slugworth. Well named, this one.
Slugworth, yes, there it is in the Rob Cummings colours, the Mornington Glory and whatnot colours coming wide there, following its stablemate King of Enterprise, who in this race I sort of went for King of Enterprise over it off the trials. D Lane put on a clinker in front on a nice horse. This acted on Verba. Like he rolled to the front, rolled along at a tempo, gave it a bit of a breather and kicked. This race is rated really well, about 5 lengths inside standard, out fast, home fast. So I like that. That Slugworth was never close than 3 or 4 wide the trip. Like he tried to get in, his stablemate half cast him. So he had to cover ground and he still had the temerity to finish off his race. Nice So You Think horse, just ideally up in trip. And big thing for me, drawing to map more positive. I mean, he had a horse in the same colours yesterday, Nico at Sale, the Cummings family horse, won the 5th race or something, over at Oxford Blue. But went back on debut at Sandown behind Too Darn Discreet. Barrier 1 yesterday, straight to the front, E. Brown wins the race. So it's one of my things. I like him up in trip with the run under their belt. Divine Thoughts, obviously, is the starting point there, but personally I've pinged for things to beat her last 2 and got it right. I like Statuario to beat her at Cranbourne. D Lane got it to fly, and then the nice Dabening horse, the Fiorente horse who ran past it at Bendigo. Horses with similar profile to this, lightly raced, up in trip, can map better. So I'm doing it again here. El Curry, home track. Vidachi, there's one here, the Enrine thing, got the blinkers on, and it's a set play for Enrine. 3rd up blinkers, give him a trial between the runs in the blinkers, but tell you what, the trial at Toorak, geez, I would like to have seen it gone a lot better than it did. So Not really going for it. And just like Hankey, he's pretty honest, but he's sort of best up at Wangaratta, Wodonga. That's been his go, but he'll run all right. He's pretty honest. But I thought Slugworth here, he was a pretty expensive weanling. Went back and had a look. They paid $250,000 for him. He looks like a progressive horse. Bazuston's got a lot of these nice staying 3-year-olds, you know. I think he can park up. Divine Thoughts probably lead. He can park behind it, and I think if it can build some momentum, can round it up.
Nice one here, DK. 460 early at TopSport. When do the masses stop betting? It sounds like this one's going to get crunched.
Well, the favourite's obviously exposed. It's going to run short because it's got figures. It goes to the front. It's everything they like. But normally betting sort of colours. The colours sort of the money's a good guide to their chances in these colours. So I think it's a good price. I think it'll get out. The other one should get out evens or something, and this might get into 5-2 or something like that.
Beautiful stuff. Nico, same page?
I haven't really done the race yet, but I'll get stuck into it tomorrow. But I did have a good look at Slugworth before the debut, and it did look like a horse at just 1,600, 2,000 was going to be where he hits his best. So, definitely the time to get involved. Not first up, probably looking for the extra distance, which he gets.
Outstanding. So you got the So You Think mare favourite versus Slugworth, the gelding. So hopefully at start 2, it can salute for all the DK followers and all the Little Birdie clan and DK himself. So great little start there. Cranbourne 5, Slugworth. Let's have a look at Saturday. No one's requested it, and by absolute pure fluke, we've got the quaddie legs. So I'm going to have a look at all quaddie legs at Caulfield. Race 7 as the kickoff point. And the good news is it's a dry deck at Caulfield, so should race pretty well. It's the Group 1 Might and Powers, the first race here. Mr. Brightside. If that's correct, 310 into $1.60 is a bit of an error there. A Tissue, $5. Deny Knowledge, $7. Coco's Sun, $13. Jenny Lala, $18. Vow and Declare, $21. Calipore, Donny's horse, $21. And then Adelaide River, $21 also. The last two roughies there look like had Barrow Trials last start. You'd think, and this could be one more before the Caulfield Cup and some of the cups, but Mr. Brightside's the obvious here. We've seen the replay and we've seen it. We'll end up seeing it a couple of times throughout the show. But I thought a Tissue did okay here. She sort of weaves away back around a couple of horses here, and maybe the wet track was why she sort of laid in. And a couple of these horses out in front, they've gone pretty hard, and they're just all up and going and pretty rock hard sort of fit horses. And I thought a Tissue back to a smaller field. I know she hasn't really been exposed to Caulfield too often, but a drier track, I thought that she could be the value, or what's left of the value in the race. Mr. Brightside, barrier $1, $1.60. He's definitely going to be the hunted here. I don't think I could back him at $1.60. But if I had to go looking for a bet outside of him, I'd probably think a Tissue now gets J-Mac, and then other horses that I didn't mind in this race. I suppose they're going to maybe roll the dice with Deny Knowledge. Are they going to take her forward? And then is she going to fall into a horse like Mr. Brightside's lap? That's a question that I sort of tend to pose. And the other horse I think that's potentially going places is a horse like Coco's Sun. I thought she was super behind another wheel first up in the benchmark 100. She carried, 60 kilos that day. And then she was pretty good in the Underwood. I thought she was a forgive. She was sort of slowly away for Jay Carr. She wasn't that bothered with it. It was a pipe opener, but she only got beaten by Buckaroo by 5.5 lengths. And while it looked disappointing, I think Hueta just gave her a hip and shoulder on the way past. And I think that, the Buckaroo form's obviously been Frank, Pericles, Duke de Sessa. Even Duke de Sessa stuck on pretty well in the Turnbull there as well. And she's just got that extra bit of fitness now. But I worry about Coco's Sun. She's probably just going to have one more barrier trial because she drops to 50.5 kilos in the Caulfield Cup. But if looking for ways to beat Mr. Brightside, a Tissue and Coco's Sun would be my sort of angles there. But over to you, Nico.
Yeah, I don't really think you need to overcomplicate it too much. He'll just win Mr. Brightside. I think the early tempo with Deny Knowledge and Jenny Lala, I think Jenny Lala might lead Deny Knowledge off the way they rode her last start. She's had a few runs for Freedman where they haven't gone out like they did when she was with Mick Kent. And she has a huge chance to back up into the Caulfield Cup. So I'd be thinking they might ride her a bit more conservative. Jenny Lala might try and be like prior to Jenny 2.0. I don't know if she'll go as fast, but I think she'll be rolling along at a genuine tempo. And then I think that gives Willow plenty of options to get off the fence with Mr. Brightside. So if he gets to say $1.70, which you might see with the TopSport 110, I'll be having a good crack, I think, because I just can't see him getting beat. A Tissue for mine, she's just nowhere near going well enough for mine. For like her best is easily good enough, and you can make a real case for her at her best. Like her Australian Cup run, there's not much between them.
That's the
her
question.
winning the Champion Stakes, but she's a bit average first up, slowly run race, and you could probably forgive them a Kaibi Diva last start, plain. There's always been this talk that she's a better horse at Flemington. She's never really had any runs at Caulfield. She had one run at Caulfield, which was down the track in one of the 1400 metre Group 1s. I just don't know if she's with us. So if she's the main danger, well, that just makes me even more confident. Brightside, I know it's the easy way out a bit, but I think if you're betting into the race, you've probably got to back him.
Yeah, that was my concern. I stuck up for her last week at Tissue, but when that soft track, and then Zara got off and said she ran as good as she could. So that's what he said. So on the quick backup on a dry surface, I'm sort of tempted not to probably give her one more because she was just so good in those. As I went through her record last week on dry tracks in this distance range, albeit all of Flemington. So I'm sort of giving her one more to run a race. If she can't fire here, that'll be pen job. But no, Mr. B, I mean, the 2,000 metres, I mean, is he a better miler? But he's got that close to feet in the Cox Plate. And
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's going as well as ever. He's going good. Even though, like, Antino stuck right on his ginger the whole way. Like, he didn't pull any ground off, but he was the one who had to do the chasing. At least Antino had a bum to chase and a bunny. So, no, I think he's going as well as ever. It's hard to play around him.
We've all got similar thoughts. Walt, have you got a different angle completely at all?
No, I don't think he doesn't run 2,000, but there's no way in the world I could possibly take odds on a horse at the top of their distance, especially in a race where it could be tricky. Like, you don't know if they're going to go fast, slow, three back the fence, inside Craig. I'd rather not bet than back it. I think, Tissue's the one, and just the way the market moves are going with the Wallace stable, you just got to wait until late. And if the money comes for a Tissue, I'd be happy to follow it because, there's probably 5 lengths difference between money coming and money not for the stable at the moment. And if this horse is backed and the money keeps going, J Mac on, you've just got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. But Mr. Brightside, it's the one to beat for sure. But no one in the world I'm taking odds on.
Yeah. Well, we're all sort of all somewhat in agreement. So is she gone or is she not gone? And will the Waller betting team give her the stamp of approval? So we can watch with bated breath. It'll be interesting to see how Tristan tweaks the board with Mr. Brightside. Typically, it's going to be a big stand. So maybe the value in the 110% markets could be the Tissue for us. Last chance.
Yeah, I'd rather take $5 than 10 and watch it start 15, and you know what I mean. It's one of those ones.
Yeah, you'll definitely know.
I know you're trying to find a 110
or
angle. I'd rather Nico's angle of snipe the overs Mr. B because you'd expect it to come back in. You might be able to lay it back, whereas a Tissue, I'd rather wait to see someone's money who actually means something step in. Fascinating
betting contest. I'm glad that we covered that race. Let's go to race number 8. It's the Caulfield Guineas, and broadsiding here is the favourite, $1.55. No surprises. Mayfair, 11 into 650. Angel Capital, $9.50. Evaporate, $11. Private Life, $17. Wanneroo, $19. Public Attention, $21. Tropicus, $31. And much, much better the rest. Again, no replays here. Broadsiding. Speaking of plunges, it was one of the biggest plunges we've seen. We spoke about it on last week's show briefly, but the money didn't stop. And yeah, it's scary when a horse comes out, produces such a performance, given all these other opposition a big edge fitness-wise. Where is the surprise or the upset going to come from? Is it Mayfair, who probably didn't have the clearest run to the post last time, a bit of the DF with the Melbourne Colts, who do look a rung below, or is it something like a lightly race Private Life that's well outside the market with, Waller Grand Final and the miracle that he can do with spiking horses to produce a massive new peak, or is it Wanneroo trying to make all out in front? Any thoughts here, Nico? Or are you just going to play straight up the guts and hopefully Tristan turns Brightsiding out to $1.80 in the 110 market and unload?
Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to back Mr. Brightside than Broadsiding, to be honest, at the prices. But he's so hard to tip against. Like, the win in the Golden Rose was outstanding. He just seems like he's getting better, this horse, as time goes on. I was hearing an interview with J-Mac talk about him, and he was just saying he's such a competitor. Just loves to get into a bit of a dogfight, and I think that showed last start. He didn't probably look the winner, say 400 metres out. But, gee, it was tough late. You think he's only going to be better at a mile. He'll only be fitter as well. It seems like the Cox Plate's probably his target race. The map's a little sticky. He's going to go back. But, you know, if he can run on the day, it'll probably suit him because he's not going to be strung up in traffic. I think the one positive I found when people were sort of talking about, his Melbourne form, he had one run at Ballarat, which was okay. It wasn't a strong race. Evaporate was in the same maiden. But prior to that, he did have a really good jump out, one of the inside tracks at Flemington. He won by about 5 lengths. So that track is very tight, the inside track at Flemington. So I would sort of use that as a guide to say he probably will get around Caulfield. I wouldn't be too worried about that, although he has a lot of Sydney and Queensland form. If you go right back to that piece of work, he looked to get around on that Melbourne League Super. So wouldn't have any worries there. I think Tropicus and Private Life might be good place chances. That'd sort of be the two I'd go looking for that might improve. But he's very hard to be against broadsiding. And I think this could be like the Autumn Suns, Caulfield Guineas, where he just comes out and makes a huge statement. I don't think the opposition is necessarily that strong. And he could come out and beat these by 4 or 5 lengths and start probably favourite in a Cox Plate if he did so. So he's an exciting horse.
Yeah, no, that was similar. That performance first up multiplied by the betting. I mean, I spoke about the betting the show this week or the last week or the week before, how that with Jelko and the models stepping in at that price in that race when he possibly could have been vulnerable, they said, no, you're an even money chance in this. And by doing that, they're telling you that they've got him stamped going to much, much higher levels. So this is a stepping stone onto the Cox Plate where it'll be the gun 3-year-old in the Cox Plate. You'd be hell of a live chance there.
All right, John.
The pattern's obviously important. He's going to be back. You think that Wanneroo and Mayfair go forward and control the race. I don't think anyone will mess with them. So he's going to have a task. Everything kind of unfolded as well as it possibly could the other day, even though he was first up. He might not get that here. Who does he follow? He probably gets the back of a horse like Angel Capital or Evaporate, which will help. But still got to run past them all. So, yeah, again, I couldn't take odds on. And I'm not that keen to play in the race, but I do think. What's the story with brushing boots, Nico? Are they more of a protection thing or covering an issue? I don't see them that often.
I think they're a protection thing for horses that hit
strike themselves when they gallop or something.
Yeah, usually. So, I think that'd be more precaution than anything else.
Yeah, maybe when it was like cop that check or whatever, it might have knocked itself or something. Who knows? But it's probably not a positive. But it was the horse that I was most interested in because it's been freakish. You know, first up was good. When it swooped, it was first up last time was great, and then last start sort of overcame issues and the times and everything good. So it interests me. Evaporates fine. Yeah, I think I'm happy to go a little bit wide and throw a few in the quaddie here and hope it gets rolled. To be honest.
Mm. Yeah, he's going to have to regress to get rolled here broadsiding, but couldn't really talk you out of him from my perspective. Scary to think what he can do. And, how does he come unstuck or where does he come unstuck? Maybe it's 2,000 metres, but looks a mighty horse to beat on Saturday for me. The Caulfield Race 9 is the next one. It's the Schillaci Stakes. It's Mornington Glory here, favourite over this 1,100-metre distance. $3.80, recommendation $4, Kalos $5, Oscar's Fortune $5.50, Star Patrol $8, Bellatrix Star $8.50, Stapati $20, and Maharaba is $26, and then Celluli at $51. Nico, this is your first real bet as it is, and Mornington Glory, who won the Moya, has jumped out since and holding his mark quite well, you think?
Yeah, went like a rocket here. This is on the Caulfield inside track at the Heath. Katsu's the leader there. You've got a few other nice horses in this jump out as well. Yeah, Who Dares is inside, and that's right. I think the Inferno's back in the field with Mahaba, Charm Stone also in there. So it's like a group class sort of heat. He just tags the leader here, and I really like this jump out. Hearing an interview with Gavin Bedger could sound like he was a bit fresh and potentially needed it, but loved this last 200 metres where Brown just sort of asked him for a bit of an effort here. Thought he extended really well just here. Just picks him up with pretty good ease there. And then he's pretty quiet on him to the line and through the line. So I know he had a lot of favours there last start in the Moya, but that was probably a stronger race than what he faces here. He's very well treated under the set weights or weight for age here, only carrying the 57.5. So I think there's a lot in his favour. The horse is just flying. Like he had one poor run on a wet track to start the campaign, then he's won everything since. Had the favours last start, but he probably gets the favours again here. Oscar's Fortune and Salui are probably the two that go forward. Does recommendation cross him from 6? Not too sure. He's probably 1 out, 1 back, or 2 pairs back, 1 off at worst. Like, it's just going to be a perfect map for him, isn't it, DK?
Well, and make no mistake, that is a far better map for him than leading. Like, Croft's told me he's a far better horse with a sit. You know, they thought he'd jump out and find a bum in the Moir, and he's jumped out and just trucked to the front because he was going so good, and it was a good spot to be in the end because they couldn't cross him. But he's a better horse with a sit, with that turn of foot he showed the start before, or whatever. He just rounded them up, you know.
Against the bias.
Yeah. So here, he's got these horses just going to Oscars and, did you say, recommendation? Those other ones, a bit of speed in this race, he's just going to park behind them.
And you go back to his runs in the autumn at Caulfield, like around 3rd in the Oakley Plate, 5th in the Rubiton, under the weight for age scale there. Like, he ran super in those races, and I think you could probably make a real case he's improved. So pretty fitting as well. Mornington Glory in the Schillaci, DK.
Yeah, was he a great horse, Schillaci? Are you old enough to remember him, Nico? Probably a bit before your time.
Before my time. But
when the Freedmans were flying, they had all these great stayers, they were winning cups, and he was their sprinting horse. And he was winning all the sprint races and when they were in their heyday, the Freedman brothers. So was he a good horse, Schillaci?
Nico, is Star Patrol with us, or do you think he's cactus?
He jumped out really well. There's plenty tipping him. I've even heard the stable might have a bit of a tip around for him as well. So, yeah, he jumped out well. It's a long break, though, isn't it? He hasn't raced since last spring. This is the kind of horse, though, that they don't sort of tend to get a lot of runs out of. It's not like he has a 5-6 run campaign. So I think he'd be pretty fit for this first up run. His best is definitely good enough. He's got a bit of a tricky map from 8 and where he sort of gets to in the run. And most of his best form is at Flemington and Sandown, big tracks, just a bit of a way with Caulfield. I don't think there's much between him and like Mornington Glory at their best. So he's definitely some chance, but a bit hard to sort of make a real comment if he's really with us. Probably going to have to see him on race day.
The horse I gave a tiny little chance to was just down in the weights, Bellatrix Star. I thought Willow can just sort of bounce her out, sit where she's comfortable, and I think she's got a bit of a motor and a bit of a finish on her. And I thought that if they do go over the top, I thought she could be someone who could benefit from that. And if she gets the right sort of run in transit, she might squirt late and maybe upset them. But
interesting to see what the betting does with her late with that lightweight. You know, that one with the lightweight. Sometimes they can charge right into them.
Yeah, but not sure. With the race, it's not one that I've got a big handle on, but after watching that little jump out vision of Mornington Glory, can see why you're not going to drop off him at all, Nico. So, Walty, any interest or none at all?
Actually, that jump out reminded me a bit of Might and Power. So I think that's got to be good form coming into this race. But no, I honestly think the ambulance could win this race. I went out desperately trying to find something to beat Mornington Glory because I did think it went one by Actor God last start, but nothing can win. Like it's so it has to be the horse to beat, I guess. And I kind of went looking for the horse you liked, Scoot, because she just keeps improving and does look like she's got a bit of X factor. Well set up, 1,200 back to 1151 kilos. But crikey, surely that's not form for a Schillaci Stakes. But it's probably the only horse I could back. It's the party win. It's the sort of horse that profiles well for me in a race like this. If they all fall over as well, I don't know. I'll just cheer for Nico here. I'll just cheer for Might and Power number 2.
All right, so Mornington Glory and a small little spec and a big market watch on Bellatrix Star. And welcome to all
the northern buyers, the northern states buyers ringing through there. Like Mornington Glory's $1 million horse going to roll as $1 million going to roll as Oscar's Fortunes run second in winter bottoms to overpass and all these other things. So then he wants to. Nothing can win. The ambulance will win. Gee,
well, Damien Lane can't win on anything, so I straight pen the horse.
He's an Ascot horse.
It's
been a funny 6 weeks since that was
They don't
first
seem
moved.
to be that form just doesn't seem to be travelling. I agree. The overpass seems to I thought he'd get in the Everest, but they just don't seem to be travelling and racing that well.
Yeah, and a cheerio to any new viewers that are just starting to chime into this show. Things that come out of Walt's mouth, this is your usual occurrence. So if you can't keep up, don't worry.
We're not going to die wondering what
eventually.
I'm thinking.
Hey?
I'm not going to leave you die wondering. This is what I'm thinking anyway.
Oh, sometimes we get lost, but sometimes we know what we're talking about. Caulfield Race 10. Hopefully we know what we're talking about here is the Toorak Handicap, 1,600 metre Group 1 Handicap. These are my favourite. Another Will, $2.60 here at TopSport, in from $3. Antino, $4.80. Desert Lightning, $7. Orchestral, $9.50. Craig, $9.50. Alsafina, $11. Osapenko, $13. Wishful Lass, $21. And much, much better the rest. couple of replays that I've got queued up here. First one was Another Will First Up. This was some win here. There's not many horses that could finish as strongly as he did first up. I think it was pretty severely leader bias this day, or you sort of needed to be up and in the first few pairs. And I thought she slaughtered it. Whether she was trying to give it a run, J Car, or not, I just didn't think Another Will had any right to win this race. And lo and behold, just carried her. Carried the jockey were my notes on this occasion, and beat Here to Shock, who I think went up to your neck of the woods and won the Cameron.
Yeah.
On a bit of a leader bias track there too. And this is a beauty. So went forward this time. And this is the best thing about this horse. It can go forward, can go back. And I think they've just got his temperament sorted out. And he's just a much more mature horse. And they've obviously put a lot of time into getting him to be a bit more of a tractable professional racehorse. And it's starting to pay dividends. And they're being really patient with him. But have a look at that performance in, I think it was the Testarossa. Run, Harry, Run, nearly put him over the fence, and he's sort of just won as soft as you like, and just haven't seen him out of second gear. I think Another Will's clearly the horse to beat, and sort of like him out to the mile. I think he's just going to be more deadly and more dangerous, and I think he can go forward, Another Will's, and be in the first few pairs and be hard to beat. And this is the obvious danger to my liking, and that's Antino. And I've just been watching this horse sort of closely, and I think it was in the Mackay Diva Stakes. My notes was this horse is very close, and then I would have probably declared him immoral in the Fiend, but obviously Pride of Jenny and Mr. Brightside pop in into that race and scared all the field away, and I thought he did a super job there. And I'm just not sure that this horse is now going to be sharp enough over 1,600 metres. I thought he'd be better off in a race like the Might and Power, and I'm just surprised that Tony Gollan still hasn't taken the horse to sort of 2,000 metres. It's got me absolutely flabbergasted. He was in the 5 Diamonds, I think it was last preparation or 2 preps ago, and I think he started $2.20 favourite there and pulled up lame over the 1,800, but he was hammered that day. So I'm not sure why they just keep persisting to not stretch this horse out, but he's the danger. If they overdo it, I think he's just finally got to his top and peak. Desert Lightning has got a bit of class, or Kestrel, she's got a bit of class, but I think she should be in the Caulfield Cup. That's her race. Craig doesn't run a bad race, and he's got Craig on top. He doesn't know he's sort of stepping up in class and can run a big placing. But I just thought Another Will, 55 kilos. They've obviously done the compressed weights trick with Pride of Jenny, and heaven forbid if they all 4 favourites lob, just bookies are going to get. It's going to be Black Saturday for the bookies if Broadsiding wins. Mr. Brightside wins, and then every multi will just be into Another Will. The negative is barrier 1. He might get put over the fence again. He's going to be the hunted, but Mick D, I think he's riding all right. But it looks a pretty straightforward race to me, and these handicap conditions just suit him. This horse is a weight for age star in the making. Nico?
I thought the big tick with Another Will was last start DK when that horse did lane on top of him. Who was it? Run, Harry, Run.
Yeah.
He took the gap. Like, he's probably going to have to take a gap here at some point in the run. You know, Magnus Spin, Wishaw Last, how far are they going to take him? There's some point where he's going to have to probably bump his way out. Whether it works out even better than that, you'd probably be hoping so if you're going to be chips in at $2.60. But I thought that was a big positive last start that he did that and then just sprinted straight away.
And no disrespect, but he did it with Jamie Carr, who we've spoken about. Riding inside, doesn't really take gaps, soft, gentle rider. Now gets MD with the whip in the left to help him extract himself. Big plus jock for mine, for horse inside like him. So I reckon Mickey D, left hand.
He's in form. Like, man, he's flying, MD.
Mickey D, flying. So I think that's, big no disrespect to Jamie. Jamie's a great jock, but in this scenario, MD's a positive.
Yeah, and under the weight scale, sounded like they wanted to run Pride of Jenny this Saturday at the camp. It sounds like the owners come over the top and said next week. So I think they probably did want to leave their options open. That's why she was in there, but it's definitely helped Another Will under the weight scale. And it's really hurt those horses like Craig, Alsafina, because they've been dragged up. I think they were on 51.5, so they've been dragged up to 53.5 under the weight scale. So it definitely hasn't helped them. It's probably only helped Another Will and Antino. I think Antino, I could see your point, he's maybe looking for a bit further, but a fast run mile really suited him. He was very good in this race last year in a fast run mile. And what's the point going to 2,000? Like, where are you going to run? You go the Hill Stakes where Pericles is scratch out of this race to go to. It's pretty strong. Take on Mr. Brightside and the Might and Power. I think this is the better option. So if Shin can get him out of the barriers and he doesn't sort of be slow away like he was last start, it's a big if. And he's not in the second half of the field, he's a big winning chance, but you'll know your fade early with him. Craig will be good. I think Osipenko's a bit of a smoky at odds. He gets a nice run, should be set to peak third up with D Lane. But my tip was probably Antino. I think he's just had the nice toughen up runs in the weight for age, back to a handicap. Should have nearly won this race last year. Fast tempo will suit him. Except for missing the start, he's pretty bomb-proof. If he can iron out that trait, which he probably won't, he'd probably deserve to be favourite for me. But yeah, it's the missing the start that's the worry.
Hope the as you said, their scoop before, hope the punters come home with a wet sail like they did last week. I heard the Ladbrokes bloke, and I know someone I know who's a big punter. Everyone was doing their clacker. They did they won $500,000 or something on the first race, Moby Dick going over. They were winning $1 million halfway and shot the lot off. Right the Party got there, Fair Sustainer got there, and then Revolutionary missed. No, and the coffin hung on. So let's hope the punters have got a lead and stick it right up in the back end of this program.
I think it was the Caulfield Guineas Day a few years ago. It might have been the year the Autumn Sun won, where I think Ladbrokes tweeted a tweet where they said broke lads, and it was just the same. Like all the favourites just won, and they were just cast.
Well, when I was in Scoot, when I used to work in the ring, and even back in the shops in the day, like bookies, Caulfield was a nightmare. Bookies do their ass, and they go to Flemington Cup Week trying to get their money back. Because Caulfield, I think the old Caulfield where your leaders used to dominate, then the punters just used to fill up. So anyway, let's hope it's some similar scenario.
Yeah, the program is definitely taking the sting out of the quality. The Caulfield card, it can't be argued. I wouldn't have thought. Walt, you're sitting back, you're thinking Toorak?
Oh, it just looks another ambulance job again, doesn't it really? No, I'm surprised another wheel's not a lot shorter. I was depressed when I saw J Car wasn't on. I saw Gate 1 first. I was like, oh, how good's this? J Car, Gate 1. And then I was absolutely disappointed to see MD on it. But I agree with DK, massive upgrade. Even though we've had our love and hate over the years, MD. But I actually thought the danger was orchestral, and I thought it was the only danger, and only because she's just got massive X factor. One of the lunatics in our Discord's tight with them, and it just basically had a barrier trial, wasn't ready, and then it's had a jump out or a trial since or something, and they said they're happy with it, which is all you want to sort of know. I think J-Mac will be a bit sick that he's not on it, to be honest, with Pericles coming out. He probably would have got to 54 or 4.5 to Ryder. And, she was in rare form before she came over here, and I think she was cooked by the time she got to our shores. So happy to give her that clean-out run first up and suggest back down to 54 and out to the mile. She'll be the danger if another Will has bad luck from the inside draw, which is the only thing I could see beating it.
I think another Will and Antino and Orchestral are three standout horses that, to my eye, just look classes above these races. But yeah, I just hope another Will over 1,600 metres, especially the two 1,400 metre runs, is enough to keep Antino and Orchestral away from him. But Antino, Antino, if he ran in a race like the Might and Power, I'd back him up in the Caulfield Cup and I'd put him straight at the front and he'd probably win.
Why do you get so excited about horses that are missing the start and friggin' running home and like 7 runs in a row and like, oh, it's just going to find its race soon? I
just hope Tony did.
No wonder
Golan.
you have no trouble getting a sponsor from a corporate bookmaker. That's all I'm going to say.
Go away. Oh, dear. It's going to be a cracking Caulfield day out there on Saturday, and Nico will be there. He's got the yard, so you can jump on board, head to his Patreon group, and if you can't find it, Nico's Yard on Twitter, and get around him. Nico and I are both punting form disciples, so make sure you check that one out. They've got new IR rating tool, so most people have got that, but it's part of the subscription there, so it's definitely worth a look. And you can also get all the benchmarks, the sectionals, and dig deep into the form and find little pots of gold. So those horses that do miss a start, sometimes you can find reasons why they will be suited in certain races. So there you go. Puntingform.com.au is the tool that Nico and I swear by.
I do. I've joined
and
the
DK, you don't mind it as well.
I've joined the strength, yeah.
Rosehill on Saturday. Walt, weather looks pretty good up in Sydney as well, which is a surprise. Race 3 is the first one you're going to have a look at here. Valet John Nicholson Handicap, 2,000 metres. Bear on the Loose is the favourite here. Nash for Gay, $2.35. Madatsu, $5.50. Raff Attack, $7. Marymount Buller, $7.50. Shahir, $8.50. Kabosh, $12. Roma Avenue and Akuris. The replay we're going to have a look at here is Bear on the Loose, and he was out in front in the red, and he boxed on pretty well. He'd only go down 1.5.
Yes, it's sprint mile, probably not his go. I thought he paraded a little bit fresh and happy to sort of have the run under his belt. What's his the grey floating as he gets out, just out sprints him late. And I don't think this form's anything spectacular, but just sort of treating it as a barrier trial, getting out to 2,000 Nash. $2. To be honest, it was a meeting where I was struggling to find too much early, and it just stood out as a horse it's got a little bit more upside than the rest of them, and you might see a better price. To be honest, I would suggest waiting. There could be a few sort of horses they come for around it, and getting out to the sort of 120 or down from that. I think 230 is about as short as you possibly want to take, but maybe throw in some multi. So I just thought he stood out as a horse with a bit more upside than the rest of the crew there that have had a few grand finals, or they're not up to his class.
It's a funny one because you've got a horse like Rafatak who goes forward. I thought he could be a possible pest, but same stable, so maybe they just put it on for each other and then bear it on the loose, and Rafatak sort of just duke it out. But was there anything in the stewards report for Mare and Mount Buller? Obviously, Camp's had a big
flat run is all they said. I think they vetted it, no issue found, but it was the old Waller second up. Who knows? It is a scary horse. It could bounce. I think they'll work it out with Rafatak. The beauty of Bear and the Loose is drawn outside Rafatak. So, number one, you can either cross him or sit. And then you've got Roma Avenue with Reese out wide who can do a few funky things and sometimes gets running. So, he's got, sort of inside and outs between them. He can take it. He's completely adaptable compared to those two, I'd say. So, I'm not really concerned how the races run. Probably a little bit of tempo sitting off him would be ideal for this horse. If he is left in front, I don't think it's a big drama.
Mare Mount Buller was the big danger for me if she can magically bounce back from whatever that Waller second up thing is, and she's a money horse too. If she's going to bounce back, they'll back the pants off her as well.
Agree.
Nico, any opinion?
No, I was thinking that Bear on the Loose could be a potential like Metrop horse this year, but they've waited till the late spring, and these seem his kind of races, these 2,000 metre races, and he might progress to something over Cup Week or something like that. So he was gallant, and there's been a bit of form out of that race. St. Lawrence won, Juniper won, and there's a few of them running on Saturday. So it's not, although he was beaten, it's not the weakest form race.
And they were all like fit, super fit compared to him there.
Yep. Race 4 is an absolute cracker. Real spring shaper, the Gloaming Stakes. Swift Falcon's a favourite here, $2.40. Henline is $3.70. Tenbury Wells $5. El Castello $6.50. Davana $15. Firm Agreement $21. Lugano $26. Replay we're going to have a look at here. There's two actually. We're going to have a look at El Castello. The first one, this is the Fernhill, and there's a blue jacket horse called Broadsiding that goes on and wins that one. But he's in the orange here with the purple cap. El Castello doesn't give up.
6 months ago.
Hey?
This is 6 months ago.
Yeah. I thought it was
you get in the time machine. Mate, the midway form's stronger than this.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that broadsiding? Just spearing down the outside?
The midway run's the one we want to see. But the beauty about him is you see he gets completely outsprinted by broadsiding, but through the line he's sort of going through his gears and fighting the others off.
And here he's in the midway.
Yeah, so this is what we're talking about.
This is a stronger form.
It actually is it's a pretty good form, I think, because these are sort of hard, tough horses. Extreme Freedom, I think, is the thing coming out the outside. He's already come out and run well since. Hard, fit, tough horses. It's a good guide usually for sort of emerging 3-year-olds, especially stayers, if they can beat these sorts of horses off. And again, I don't think he got near his top here. Tim rode him very well, but I still think, when a horse comes to him and whatever he's learning, he's a lot better than what it's shown there. Any more replays?
No more replays. I'm trying to give Borco a softer show this week. But Swift Falcon, I thought he was a little bit lucky. Everything just panned out for him last time, and Pleasure Artist with a bit more luck could have beaten him.
Well, I think there's a few. Yeah, Swift Falcon definitely is sort of. His 2 wins have been great, right? All these last 3 before the break as well. He took advantage of that, everything that did go his way last week. He sort of sailed down the middle and looked probably more impressive than he was. And that's kind of one of the angles to why I thought he's, sort of left Jay on him. He's done nothing wrong on him, but that's not a real positive for mine, especially on a horse that's sort of going to get back. So it'll get back. Henline, you'd say, goes back with him. He was good at the Valley last start. He was good enough first up too. So he's a horse that's sort of on the up. But again, Tommy can... wide draws, horses get back. He can be a bit sleepy. Tenbury Wells has been very well placed his last 2 starts. So it sort of just left me with El Castello as the horse that's going to be up on speed. He's super tough. I don't think, 1800 is not going to stop him. And hopefully he's just off and gone. If they control the speed enough and those horses out the back are set too big a task, I think sort of each way, I think in like 650, I think there's better around. I think it's like $8 around for sure. I just see that as the best option clearly in the race, because you say there's 4 top chances here. I'd probably say Tenbury Wells has to show a little bit more. The other 2 are more progressive and dangerous, but they're probably going to give him 6 or 8 length start in the run around Rosehill. So no rain around. Hopefully JP, who needs the winner, he's going to be hungry as to bounce his horse out in the first 2 or 3 in the run and be off and gone. And if they run him down too good, but I think each way it's nearly bomb-proof.
1800, he's just going to completely eat it up. Swifter Falcon's a bloody nice type. Have you laid eyes on him, Nico? And are you worried about him over 1800, 2000 based on how he looks? He looks like the Incredible Hulk, this bugger.
Yeah, he'll be suited. The best type in the race is definitely Henline. I said the other day on our review show that he'll end up a multiple Group 1 winner. I have a lot of faith in this horse. I thought he just didn't get around many value last start. Zara just he didn't want to get him to his top too early around the bend, so he sort of nursed him around the bend, and then once he got into the straight, he really let down well. He's a sensational type, this horse. I think he'll explode when the blinkers go on. That could be in the Spring Champion. He's drawn wide. He probably has to go back. Could be the biggest flashing light run you'll ever see for a Spring Champion. I would have had him second pick in the Guineas if he was there. I think he's the best of the Melbourne colts. He's the best middle distance colt. He's a serious horse. He just may not have the right setup there on Saturday, but I think he's the one to take going forward. He's going to have to chase old Costello, like Walt sort of outlined there, but if he runs him down, they will not be beating him in the Spring Champion.
I agree with you, that he's a danger too, for what it's worth.
Yeah, his run in the Ming Dynasty was absolutely flashing light, and the Stud Stakes, I just thought he had a bit of a squirt around barrier trial, looking at a race like the Amy Vars or something before the Derby.
Well, the Amy Vars and the Spring Champion are on the same day, so that works out good, doesn't it, for all these 23-year-olds? PVL at his best there.
Rocket scientists.
Oh, well, that's terrific then, isn't it? So, yeah, he'll struggle to win both on the same day, won't he?
No, I'm not. With the rap that Nico's got him, he's a chance.
He might just get on the float.
Got to get him there. If there's more than 2 hours between races, he's a chance.
DK, lightly race staying horses. This is your wheelhouse.
Well, I only wanted to talk about one horse, and I agree with every single word Nico said. He's just Henline. I just had a horn for him after the Ming Dynasty. I tipped him the other day. I thought he could round him up the other day, and geez, he put in a good effort. He was charging late. He's just a line finder, and as Nico said, a beautiful type of horse. So, yeah, just unfortunate about the setup. He draws a barrier. He rounds him up here, but he's just going to give him a start.
All right.
A lot of El Camels in between them, hopefully, too. That don't take them anywhere.
Team Lay, definitely Swift Falcon, maybe flattered last start, and then you got El Costello out in front, and then, Henline to storm over the top. So, hopefully, Tommy Berry's not asleep.
Into second.
And you've already got
he's got that tingy blonde mane, aren't they? They're lovely, those sorts. They're good. They're
he's a flashy-looking bugger, isn't he?
Yeah, I love him. Yeah, good sort.
Let's have a look at race number 7, the Hill Stakes. It's a 1,900-metre race worth a gazillion as well, because that's what we need. Royal Patronage, $3.60. Pericles, $3.90. Covalika, $5.50. Golden Path, $5.50. Nonconformist for Becky, $12. New Endeavour, $12. Hinged, $18. Attrition, $19. And Navajo Peak, $26. Berkshire Shadow, I think it must be on the back up there. And Redstone Well Stockman, and that is the race. I'm not going to bother about replays. We'll show probably 2 or 3 or 4 here to try and get the key chances here. But from a starting point, Royal Patronage, I was keen to perhaps take on over 1,900 metres. I thought they might be going back the other way in trip and might be looking for sort of 1,400, 1,500 metre races. I think he worked a little bit early last week, but I didn't think he finished off his race as good as I thought he could have. And I was sort of thinking that maybe Kovalika and Attrition were the value in the race. Walt?
Yeah, he's going to have to work, you'd say. He came again, sort of like, I was just not really sold on that Epsom. It was like Tom Kitten had to do so much work from where he was. And as you said, they didn't go super duper Epsom speed. Pretty controlled tempo, sort of whacked away. You'd expect that he'd need everything to go his way to justify 5-2. I agree. I didn't know if Pericles was going to be here, but as Nico said, it sounds like they're coming. Kovalika, Zach Lloyd. How do you find Zach Lloyd for Kovalika? But, I don't know. They are running for him, and inside draw, he's always dangerous. Golden Path's the horse that I think is just completely and utterly airborne against coming out of that Elias lead-up race off of, I think it was like 42 days between runs there. Chao Wolf and Elias have made that form look pretty good. I think he's probably the one to beat. draws the gate to have options too. So whereas Royal Patronage is going to have to roll forward, and New Endeavour probably that just leaves Golden Path sitting right behind him, gets first shot at him, and he's just he's thriving on sort of fast tempos and racing well. So he'd be the one I'd probably have to back if I was going to bet into the race. But I think it's a little bit smelly. Again, what are you going to get, $6 or $7? It's like probably again a bit of a weak option, but each way it looks the play for me. Golden Path.
Nico?
Yes, Slovelica for mine. I thought he just was held up at a key stage during the Epsom. You probably could have made a real case he should have run second. So if he didn't cop that interference, I think he was about 250 metres out from memory. So this looks a race where he could sort of just maybe park like 2 pairs back on the fence. Box seat could be up for grabs. Zach Lloyd could put him in the race. Does look his sort of race. But if he's your top pick, well, that's sort of a reflection of the rest of the race, isn't it, DK? Because he hasn't won for a long time and he is the absolute waller number. So he needs a few things in his favour, but he has come back very well this campaign.
Yeah, no, I agree with Walt there. I just said targeting on Golden Path, especially after what we learnt last week with Elias, and even though I thought he was vulnerable, but the market still wanted to truckload it, and it ran as good as it could be benefit. And then watching Seawolf do what it did. So yeah, Golden Path's flying and got that.
And Land Legend came out of that too.
Yeah,
and so did Zardozi.
They've all elevated. So Golden Path I'd be one interests me in that most in that race.
Yeah, it's a funny horse, Golden Path. Is it just a M Price in Kent, sleep at the wheel, didn't know what they had? Like, they can sometimes do that, I think, with
it's one that's holding its form
horse.
too, and they sort of seem to run it every 5 weeks. They've seemed to work the horse out, and he keeps he's been in some hard run races, put up big performances, and keeps backing them up. So whatever they're doing is working.
DK?
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, they probably had to adapt their training methods. I mean, their training methods with young horses, they get them up and going, don't they? And some horses it doesn't suit, and probably doesn't suit this horse. He's a fresh horse, needs some space, he's a stayer. They're ones where they're one stable here where they're ready to go fresh. We've seen with their first starters in the last few weeks, just dominating. So
I think the man they got up in Sydney does a very good job. They got Greenbelt to win yesterday. That horse looked absolutely cast when he came back. This horse, he was going through the motions a bit here in Victoria, going up there. He's flying now. And he'd probably spend all his time at the Sydney stable. So, the man they got there, he's very good.
Looks like they targeted this too. I know it's been up a while. He's definitely been up a while, but it looks like they sort of half backed off him, whereas Royal Patronage doesn't feel like it is. Pericles has sort of been in here. They don't know what it is. Covalika backing up. New Endeavour's a bit in the sea. It just looks the one that should run very well, whereas the others, you wouldn't be surprised if a few of them didn't show up.
I could see the market just gravitating to Covalika and Golden Path and everything just being express out. I sort of tend to agree, but great lay, Royal Patronage. I
hope I get jammed by Covalika with Zach. I'll probably save on it because it'll hurt me, but I just hope that's a nice little jam, the Covalika jam. That'd be pure pain.
I love when you hear Zach's going to be the next J-Mac, and then he just completely torches half of his rides each
they
weekend.
do run for him, but he's completely reckless the way he rides a lot of the time. He's got a lot of growing up to do and maturing to do or whatever, but you wouldn't swap him for too many riders, would you, as in potential going forward? It's just he's just not there yet, but there's plenty worse that you could find in the room. You're going to cop a few bad ones, and you got to know that. I'm not bagging him he can ride a winner, that's for sure.
How often would Reece Jones outride J-Mac?
Never. Even that day, it's 12 out of 10. The horse over raced the whole. It was acting odd. Have you ever seen a bloke get ripped off after a Group 1 win quicker? Poor bugger. I think he was replaced by Morera, who was replaced by Zach Purton. There's 17 people in the mix to ride Land Legend next start. He's not one of them.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, it's time for it's Walt. It's racingwatch.com.au, and he does a kick stream on Saturday, so you can get more of his madness and try and figure out how his brain works every Saturday. Probably about 2:00, I think he kicks into his.
It's a good insight too, because I'm normally 10 hours deep of form by the time I start the thing, so I'm already vulnerable. And then you're sort of getting into the quaddy legs. You get to see well and truly inside my head.
And then there's the 24/7 Discord chat and Telegram as well. So if you don't want any noise and just want his tips, you can get it. So there's 3 nice little formats to get more of Walty, but it is true. He's completely crackers. Friday, Tassie, Nico, you're working, pedalling twice as fast over the summer series. Big races down at Launceston. And Friday, Launceston race 3, Salters High, Class 3 Handicap 1,200 metre race here. We're going to have a look at Durazo in the purple with the wire. Sort of looks like Star Thoroughbred colours. And
it is.
It's a little flying machine here, 1,000-metre scamper, benchmark 68, and goes pretty good here, Nico.
Yeah, I think this is probably a group class horse down in Tasmania. He might end up being one of the better horses down there. He's come back this preparation. He's had 2 wins. First up over 1150, then they dropped him back to the 1,000. Really strong to the line there. He's very tactically versatile. He can sit on top of the speed. He can come from behind. He's got, I think he only have 4 horses in the race on Friday night. So the only danger to him is Island Warrior. She ran second in the 1,000 Guineas down there. She's first up. She trialled okay. But I think if he has his way, he'll just put her to the sword. I'm hoping he's not like $1.20. I think if he's like $1.50 or $1.60, you can just jam him into all your multis and everything like that for the weekend, which I'm assuming there'll be plenty of, and he might be another one that can just get you a bit more interest on top because he looks a serious horse. His debut run, he was smashed in the betting. It was Launceston Cup Day. He got into like even money. He drew 11 of 13. They went right back, biased track, couldn't get into the race, and then he absolutely bolted in his next run, and then he's won 2 on the bounce since. So right stable, right connections. I think the half brother from memory, they paid the most ever at a Tasmanian sale, I think, for him. So they obviously knew he went pretty good. So they're putting a bit of money into the family. Star Thoroughbreds, and he looks a really talented horse. So I think he'll be winning on Friday night. Hopefully he's a little bit of a price to jam in some multis, and then we'll keep following him across the summer because he looks a very talented horse down there.
Beautiful. Yeah, it doesn't look like 1,200 metres is going to pull him up, and $1.50 is the right price to take there. So hopefully the bookies are a little bit generous, but mightn't last by the look of that one. Race 7 is your next best across the card. It's a Salters High benchmark 60 handicap, so I could see the Salters getting around Tas Racing. 1,400 metre race here, and Lordosis is the trial here, and a bit of deja vu here. Blonde Star is in the lime, and then you've got Lordosis in the John Keys colours here with D. Perez swinging off it.
Yeah, so John Keys has taken over the Brunton stables. This horse did start his career with Scott, the nice big black horse there. Blonde Star, she trialled really well here. I think she was beaten by the bias on last Friday night. It was a real track out to be up near the inside, so that gave her no chance. Hopefully it's a bit more even this Friday night with the rail going out a bit further. But I thought he trialled really well there, Lodosis. She's a sort of a fast 1,100-1,200 metre horse, Blonde Star, and he's a horse who kicks off here over 1,400 metres. He was a winner second up last campaign, beating Attaway, who actually beat Durazzo in a maiden. So the form around him is pretty strong. He's very consistent. He didn't run out of the top 4 last campaign. And I think the key to this horse is strong riders. When David Perez has had a bit of a mixed season last year, I think he hurt his knee and he was out for much of the year. So Jason Maskell rode him on a few occasions. Froggy, Perez has had a few rides on this horse, and I think those riders seem to get the best out of him. He had a few other jockeys on who just didn't really seem like they could get enough out of him in the finish. So Perez on, probably going to have to need a little bit of luck from the draw, but there is some speed here, and I think if he can just sort of slot into the running line, and if the truck's not fence on fire like last week, he's a talented horse, and he could be another one that sort of races his way through the grades over the summer, because I think they'll be probably aiming up with him. He did a good job in only second campaign, last campaign, to win a maiden, to go all the way to sort of benchmark 68 racing, which is it's pretty strong down there, the 68 grade. That's probably as strong as you get in the off season. So he's a talented horse, like the trial, and I think Perez on first up shows good intent.
Price, Nico?
I think he will be favourite. I think you'd probably want, looking at the field, probably 280 maybe would be the sort of price you could get involved there, 280 plus. If you're shorter than that, there's probably the risk element with the barrier and sort of the map. But if you can get $2.80, $3, I think that's a fair enough price for a horse that has the most upside in the race.
Outstanding stuff. And you can watch it all on tasracing.com.au. They've got hosts coverage of all their thoroughbred meetings, so you can see Snapper in the yard, and you can get the pre and post race interviews, so you get the final rubber stamp there. So make sure you go to Tas Racing every Friday night and support the guys that support us, and hopefully Nico can get a nice little double there. So he's got race 3 Durazzo, who could be the next sprinting sensation by the sounds of it, and then race 7 we've got Lordosis as well. So get around Tassie on Friday nights. The pennies dropped well and truly down in Tas Racing. So Donny's Best is the next one we're going to have a look at. 2 from 2 last week. Navy on the Highway was beautiful, and then Bubba's Bay was the big steamer and won really, really well. Beat Headwall, and he's got 2 for us this week.
G'day boys, back again for the best bets. They come up at Eagle Farm this week. Both are trained by Matty Dunn and should go very close. The first one's in race 3. Shamadan, first up, trialled well, gate 1. Looks a nice price at around $3.50. Then we go to race 9, Belvedere Boys. Won a couple of highways on a wet track in Sydney. He won't find this any harder. I think he should be the clear favourite around $5. So 2 metre runners, let's go.
I think Shamadan looks pretty suited in race 3. I think he's got Street Chase as the danger there, but he's ticked the wet track box. Not sure how much water they've got up at Eagle Farm, but if the races were on at the Gold Coast, it'd definitely be a heavy 10. So he looks suited with the sting out there and Street Chases from the Kendrick yard. So they'll probably fight it out with the limited amount of time that I've done the form for. You'd know that horse as well, Shamadan J.
Yeah, it went
Dubs.
like a rocket on debut and then tossed in the deep end, went good. It was just given none at second start. I haven't seen a trial or anything like that, but genuinely promising horse.
And Belvedere Boys is another horse that you know lots about. It had a big prep in Sydney last. A big prep in Sydney last.
What race?
time.
I know the horse. Yeah,
race 9.
Race 9.
Yeah, it's got to come up
the
against
mighty
Warby, Substantial. There's a few horses that sort of get back or just aren't really genuine. So I think he'd be pretty suited there as well.
M. Harley. Inside. Yeah. Any luck, it'll be very hard to beat.
No, absolutely flying. The M. Dunn yard. He's getting winners all over the shop. TopSport Steam. Swift Falcon last week was a good one. 1K at $4.20. Got the chocolates. And then you've got this week, Caulfield race 5, number 7. One of Nico's horses here. Jimmy's a Star, $1,250 at $2.60. Was a big winner first up. Looks suited again.
Yeah, he's a good horse, Jimmy. He's just got to go 1,100 to 14, which is probably the query and just where he sort of ends up for the spring. I thought they might keep him to the sprint trips after the first up win, but I would say they're probably heading to the Rupert Clark. So probably goes here, maybe a race cup week and then to the Rupert Clark. So yeah, maybe third up if you really want to bet up at a price would probably be my suggestion because just 11 to 14 is a big jump.
Calipore is the next one. This has got to be Donny's bet, isn't it? $300 at $51.
Must be.
It has to be
him to
Donny's
win
bet.
15,000.
So what did he say in our little private message group? Calipore's going to break their hearts. So good luck.
What's he going to lead on it?
Yeah, who knows?
Could be another Might and Power in the midst.
Hey, he reminds me a bit of Might and Power, doesn't he?
Bit more Sunline, that one.
Race 7, number 3. So good luck, Donny, in all seriousness. Hope he runs a blinder. And this is Nico's bet here. Caulfield race 8, number 1, broadsiding 5,000 Bobby. So that punter's expecting the price to drift from $1.50, which hopefully is the case. Hopefully they bid evens. Eagle Farm race 9, number 6 is Warby, $5.25 at $4.80. So that's an interesting bet against Belvedere Boys. But yeah, we've tipped Warby on the show and everyone's got a bit of a Warby story, so I'm not going to go start cutting myself and talking about that horse anymore.
Maybe the penny's dropped for him now. He might just go on and win.
The penny's dropped for me. I've dropped off him. Murray Bridge race 4, number 2 is Enciphering, $5.25 at $4.80. Sadly, I haven't got to Murray Bridge with the depths of spring here.
It was a good run the other day. First up, saw it. Was in that race. That bloke from Miles, SEN, he's got a foot. Their family's got a horse called I'll Catch 'em Fox. Actually goes right. So we won that race. So that's one of the reasons I laid in because there's a bit of footage around about it. But it was a wide all the way that day. So it'll be fitter, that horse.
Yeah, hit the line pretty well. And that race looks like it's got a ton of speed. So looks real suited. The worry here could be the jock, Anna Levacy. She runs at 4%. So,
mate, your girl, Tate Bull's over there. The Bull.
Oh, she'd be.
What's she doing over there?
She's a bloody good rider for over there. She'd be top 5. Tatum's horse in that, Angelica Peel, might have a chance in that as well. Went all right. But yeah, you got to have you put the stallion chain or the self-imposed stallion chain on in Adelaide. Sometimes you might find a horse, but yeah, bad jockey. Matt, sometimes you got to half your bet and get in the cupboard and hide. But hopefully there's a couple of winners there, and the TopSport Steamers start to shoot a bit straighter because we're carrying them at the moment, which is not great.
That's the idea, right?
What?
We want to win.
Well, everyone wants to win. You want to win on everything.
Yeah, we don't know who those bets are.
No,
we might
no
not
idea.
like those people.
No, we know one, and that's Donny. So hopefully Calipore goes.
Is that his bet?
Yeah.
He's got too much money.
Think and Fly racing in the Herbert Power.
Yep,
Team Noonan.
We got to run top 3 to keep our little Melbourne Cup dream alive.
Not much of a Herbert Power this year. It's pretty weak.
Nico carrying his sickness into ownership as well.
Fingers crossed for your runner, Think and Fly in the Herbert Power. Looks a gettable race. All right, that's a big wrap from us. Massive show. We'll be back next week. Not sure what the big meeting is next week. Could be the Caulfield Cup. Is the Everest
Everest Day, isn't it?
Is the Everest on?
I don't know.
yeah,
Is that a Group 1? Is that a Group 1 now, or is it Group 1 next week? Or
Race has fallen away. Oh, yeah, that was the other big news. It's now a Group 1 race, the Everest, so that's terrific. Good luck this weekend, punters, and we'll be back for Caulfield Cup and Everest show, and hopefully we keep kicking the bookies. We'll see you next week.